Can't decide if I want music or not. Let's just get started with some shader programming and then I'll see if I want music or not. So, of course, I check Discord right before going live, and I look at the Shader Toy Discord, and Nimitz has posted an awesome sky shader, but then he references this shader, which was apparently unlisted on Shader Toy, cheap sky simulation. There's a lot of cheap sky simulations on Shader Toy, but this guy managed to put together the like 3 different things. It's not unlisted anymore. I think he just made it public. They combined the Rayleigh scattering, and then they use an improved version of Rayleigh scattering that's optimized for doing this approximation. This is not default atmospheric scattering. Most people, when they implement this, if you look at it, you'll find like a for loop. I don't know if... Anyways, this is doing a single scattering. What most people do is they try to do the absolute photorealistic and perfect kind and do multiple scattering and do actual like atmospheric tracing. Maybe this one's doing full atmospheric scattering. Yeah, so you can see here, this is actually stepping through, and this actually has 2 loops, because this is what a lot of people do, is they try to do the actual realistic atmospheric scattering, which is multiple scattering. This is specific. The super cool thing about this is that this is optimized. It's like a custom version optimized specifically for just doing a single approximated trace through the atmosphere. I've never seen a shader like this that does that is actually like designed for an approximation. And then it has a bunch of crazy stuff as well, like you can like change the changing the thickness of the atmosphere literally changes the color of it, which is kind of insane how it really should work. It's really nice. Yeah, color gradient is good enough most of the time, but that's my thing. Like, there is like realistic. That's my thing. Is I was like sure that this is great because this basically does what I've wanted, and I think a whole bunch of other people wanted, which is like a bit less accurate, but really fat. It's like a really nice middle ground between being an accurate sky shader that's actually approximating different types of scattering, and at the same time it's not doing the full computation, and it's really cheap. So that's so nice. And yeah, Nimitz posted this shader of clouds and sky without any noise function, or without any textures or hash functions for noise. I don't know, this kind of isn't really I don't know why, but this isn't as impressive for me. I don't really understand what people are so impressed about this. Like, just to give you an example, people are like, okay, look at this. So the clouds are all made from sine and cosine. So I just want to go to my I do not like it very lagly and slowly than real noise. So that's my thing. Like, it's really good. It's better than most of the stuff that's posted on Shader Toy, I'll say that. Like, this is fucking top tier stuff. But like the way people were reacting to it, like it's some type of new thing. Holy shit, Shader Toy is loading so slow. Loop and gradient mix is mostly laser color mixing because creates some weird for custom. Gradient color is very complex, yeah. Come on. Let me just go to like my first path traced clouds. Wait. Oh, here we go. I just called it sky rendering. Alright, so you see these clouds? So they're made only from sine and cosine. Hold on, where's the code? Alright, cloud map. It's a combination of sine and cosine mixed together at different angles. Oh, shader toy update. No, never mind. For a second I thought it broke. Oh, actually, the mouse movement is broken. Oh, hold on. I gotta let my cat out of my room. Okay, you don't need to look around to see these clouds, though. Anyways, distance function here. Oh, wait, actually, I do use hash functions. Never mind. But the main cloud deformation is done using sine and cosine. Yeah, I guess actually bad example. It is similar to the same concept, though. You know what I just realized? This is actually way more efficient. Dude, why are the shaders not... Oh, I remember. Shader toy used to not load properly, so I have a thing of code that doesn't start the path tracer until 120 frames in. Alright, so this is a way better example. This is all sine and cosine. And I think this is such a great effect because it basically looks like smoke. But let me see if... Yeah, so I'd actually need to scale up. I'm trying to show that it's like the same similar base shape. I don't know if this is even worth doing though. Basically, when you break it down to just a single sine and cosine or set of single sine and cosines, it looks like sine and cosine. Like if you go here and you reduce it down to one set of sine and cosine. Actually, this is hard to describe, but this is basically what like blotches of sine and cosine look like when you have I don't know how to describe it. It basically like cuts off a bottom part of the sine wave and you end up getting these like circle shapes. I do agree it's really good for generating stuff. But it is pretty damn slow. Oh yeah, Nimitz is making a game. Let's see if he has this on his shader toy. Or he's working for a... Maybe I'm thinking about the wrong person. Maybe he actually doesn't have this linked to his webpage. Am I thinking about... It might be someone else. Am I thinking of a completely different person? Hold on. Yeah, I think I'm thinking of a completely different person. Hold on. I really want to find this because it was actually a really cool procedural game. Is there any way to look at who you recently followed on Twitter? That would be such an easy way to find it. Holy shit. I just realized I'm still following. This is actually really good. I'm following a Twitter from 2016 for a game jam that hasn't posted anything since 2016. I'm just gonna remove that. Oh, still following Total Biscuit and Cynical Brit. That hits, man. You know what? I wonder if they deleted their account or something. About clouds, I used IQ's clouds in one of my projects. That good enough, and that's day/night cycle. There's so many good clouds on Shader Toy, not even just IQ's. Okay, I swear to God, there's some people on my Twitter follower list that I never even followed, and I have no fucking idea who they are. Can you change your name on Twitter? Because that could also explain it. "60 FPS full screen, 4 to 6 loops, 24% GPU usage." Oh my god, you can change your username. That makes so much sense. I understand now. Okay, they could have changed. Never mind, these people haven't posted since 2017. How do I get these people that I'm following and like... No, it's not A-Kick, but oh, okay. A-Kick is working on a game though. A-Kick is really cool. Man, I wish that I could like hide the other side of Twitter. Like, not display the sidebar of Twitter so I can just display tweets and things. Because it just shows like random shit in your... Yeah, and so that's my thing. I'm pretty sure I have not safe for work turned off on my Twitter. Alright, anyways, A-Kick is really cool. He's a user who's been on Shader Toy for a long time. Last I talked to him like 4 years ago, he was like working on cars. Like he's like a car technician. But he really liked programming, so like if he's actually gone to working on games and stuff, that's actually so cool. Anyways, there's this game called Moonray, surreal sci-fi action RPG that A-Kick is designing effects for. Oh my god, the quality of Twitter videos is ridiculously bad. Honestly though, the game looks insanely good. Like, it's actually crazy. So like a bunch of those particle effects on the ground are A-Kicks. Diffusion effects. How much can I drag this before the side thing pops up? Okay, that much. Yeah, what the gameplay is actually going to be like in this is the real question. Because most of what they're just showing right now is graphics stuff. But all the effects on the ground are really cool. Let's look at this. Tense, stunning, far future world. Is there any demo yet? Yeah, it can't be made on a single effect, and one of the things that kind of gets to me is that they're focusing so much on these ground effects and these things, but the characters and things, like, they have fucking untextured cubes. Just wait, where was that? Where was that picture? Is it showing me different pictures now or something, or what? Am I blind? I swear to God, one of the pictures there. Oh, this changes pictures. Oh. Oh. But yeah, I feel like they need to add way more detail than just like this white stuff. Focus more. I don't know. Maybe I guess that's the effect they're going for, is like weird melting characters and things like that. But then I don't think they should put in the realistic trees and things. It's like a huge clash of art styles and things. That isn't the one I was talking about either. I wonder if the person deleted their. The fuck? This guy's a cancer survivor? Alright, I'm just about at the end. I don't think I'm gonna find this. Yeah, huh. I have no idea what happened to that. I wonder if they actually just deleted. You know what? The website hadn't been updated for a while. They actually could have just gave up on the project. That's kind of sad, but it happens. Give up, waste 5 years, and have 5 years on YouTube. Or Man, there's some games that like they hit it off huge. You get like 5 million. Like there's some game like the game Spellbreak I was playing last night. They had like 5 million players like last year, and now there's like under 100. Okay, that's an exaggeration. There's like 20,000 now, but that's still such a massive drop. All right, let's finally begin shader programming. Hold on, let me look up the Steam charts for it. And it's also not just on Steam, so that's the thing. The game was on Epic Games first, and so we basically just have to trust what the devs say. But like, yeah, not high, not so. Basically, the devs said on its peak, so it was only out on Epic Games for most of the time, outside of the alpha. And during that, they said it hit its peak of like 5 million people signed up, and that there were like 20,000 people playing. But the thing is now, if you like, I don't know if you saw my lobbies last night. It says there's 1,000 people playing, but I don't know if they're just sitting at the main menu or what they're doing. Because like, I have mine set up to play all across the world. Like, it'll join any server, even if it's in like Asia. And I was having like 40-person lobbies last night. So like apparently the lowest it should have been yesterday was like 1,000, but in my actual matches I was only finding like 40 people. So like I don't know. I don't know how much this actually represents like the number of people that you actually play with. You know what I mean? And then if you go to the subreddit for this game, it's like a whole bunch of people just complain about how like little people there are to play with. Fall Guys Online is dead completely when it's one of the most popular games. Wait, the search queue for Fall Guys is 5 to 10 minutes? Now that you mention it, I don't hear anything about Fall Guys anymore. So here's what I wonder. Because I'm a programmer, I know shit can get fucked up. What if the Steam numbers could be right? Maybe there actually is like a 2,000 people on. What if the programmers just have a broken queue system that just makes people sit there for like 5 to 10 minutes? Alright, so I ended up getting proper refraction working yesterday, which is very nice. Would have kind of bugged me if I didn't. And I figured out that I have to do refraction and opacity separate. Like if I want to add a volume to this and have volume scattering inside the glass, I actually have to create a separate sphere object that I apply the opacity dither to, but that's okay. That is fine. It's kind of confusing now. There's two opacities. There's one in the material that does refraction, and then there's one here that does volumetric opacity. I hope I never in my life do two things: network programming and 3D humanoid model modeling. I mean, 3D humanoid model modeling is like, I don't think a lot of people actually do modeling themselves. You start with a make human model, and then you kind of make it look how you want it to look. Which honestly isn't that hard. Like, you can get a long way with just like stretching someone's forehead bigger or something like that. I mean, even making like aliens from that. The hard part, for me at least, is clothes. Unless you use like a character creator or something that like auto like that's the thing with games is like I feel like the Adobe programs and things that just let you reuse clothes and stuff, that is seriously the future because doing the same stuff over and over again, it really makes sense to just use the software that automatically manages all that for you and retarget stuff. At least if you want actually good fitting clothes, Adobe license. So that's the thing. Adobe started like doing these things where like it's bought. I don't get what their plan is. They bought this thing Mixamo, which is actually fucking insane. It has a whole bunch of free characters and things. And so what the main thing this does is you can upload your own character, and then it has like it actually has a huge number of animations. Like, dude, 52 pages. I swear to God, there's like 1,000 animations here. And I swear to God, these are used in like games. Cause these are like anyways, you can just upload your character here. If you use 1% of Adobe product. Oh, and you're working. Nope, not at all. I was very important to check that. So that's the crazy thing about this is they have kept the Mixamo license and it is completely open for you to do. I don't know if it's legal notices. I can't remember where it is. Let me find it. I actually looked at the license a while ago. Yeah, it's like right in their FAQ. Oh, this is a good question. The last used character is stored. They keep the things on their website, which is like they can use your stuff. Not available in China. Feels bad, man. Oh, here we go. Royalty free for personal, commercial, and non-profits, including all this stuff. I think I just broke it. Yeah, I think I just broke it. But anyways, they also have free characters, and I'll be honest, these characters are shit. But I bet there's people using these in their games. Like, I do not doubt at all. Yeah, I totally broke this. I totally broke this. Mixamo's not available for your region? Oh, man. That sucks. Hey, look, it's Drake. No wonder nobody calls him. This is like... That's like... I swear to God, I've seen games that have an animation like exactly like that. Like, these are actually so good because they're exact things you would have a game. Oh my God. Anyways, though, yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was mentioning Make Human before. You can design your human in Make Human, and then you could get animations here. I think you need to, yeah, you need to make an account to to do it. But like, this is fucking insane. And actually, it's crazy how little people know about this. Actually, I think a bunch of people do what you did, is that like basically all the other Adobe products that I'm aware of, they cost a ton of money. This is crazy because Mixamo was like existed before Adobe, and Adobe bought them and just kept the exact same free structure. So that's crazy to me. MakeHuman doesn't have a lot of animations. Like, none at all. I believe it has poses. Yeah, there's no animations in MakeHuman. Half of Sketchfab uses Mixamo. Wait, does Sketchfab have like animated characters now? What do people on Sketchfab use it for? No, yeah, there's poses that you can put your character into on MakeHuman, but there's no animations. A lot of Sketchfab that I've seen that's really cool, or what got really popular in Sketchfab, is the photogrammetry, or like how they like fly a drone through historical monuments and stuff and build a 3D map of it. That stuff is really cool. But those 3D models take up so much data and are so unoptimized. It takes so long to load in. MakeHumans also has some issues for games where it's designed to be like really high polygon humans, and the lowest polygon thing you're gonna get in MakeHuman is like 10,000 polygons. There's like a low polygon one that's like 2,000 polygons, and it looks horrible. You basically end up having to like remodel it yourself. Yeah, I have no doubt that Sketchfab has ripped Fortnite animations. People just kind of upload anything there. Which makes sense. That's like basically all the other social media sites and things. Alright, I'm just fixing this so that it display. Wait. Trying to get it so that if it doesn't trace all the way, yeah, it displays black. So that way lighting won't come in from nowhere. Alright, I am happy with that. So let's get started. What I want to do is I want to make snowflakes. But to begin, we're just going to make a single snowflake because each snowflake is a fractal. And I have a pretty solid idea of how to make a decent snowflake shape, but I'm still going to need to take some time to figure it out. So I'm also thinking if I should give the snowflakes volume. Wait, Blender's Cycles uses distance field triangles? That? Huh. Cycles is really nice though. I still like Cycles so much more than what's their new render called? Eevee? Eevee does not look good in my opinion. So I'm gonna put a gradient here. Wait. Oh, I guess I need to load the shader. Alright, there we go. Wait, what did I do? Oh, I removed the floor. I removed the floor material. I mean, okay. So, begin with just my glass sphere. And I need to add some sort of detail to the background. How long to New York? Like 5 hours, I want to say. A while. Okay. So why does this make it black? What is happening? Wait, what? That fixes it when I clamp it 0 to 1. Is the ray direction becoming unnormalized somewhere? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna normalize the ray direction at the end of each of this. Wow, is the ray direction slowly becoming unnormalized? That doesn't really make sense. Times 0.5 plus 0.5. Yeah, what? So when I don't clamp it to 1, does clamping it just fix it? What? Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. The ray direction is turning into not a number somewhere. I swear to God, there's like that's the only thing that could cause that, where the clamping all of a sudden breaks. What? All right. Let us debug. So I guess there's a way either for the surface. I guess I could check if the surface is not a number, because that's what would actually explain this. There's actually multiple things that would explain it. The normal this ends up being 0 for whatever reason. I don't know. I want to figure out exactly where this is happening though, because it doesn't really make sense. So I'm going to output super bright green wherever it hits a unnormalized section, and that's going to be the only lighting. Alright, so surface is never not a number. At least as far as I can see. So let's check down here. Our ray direction RD should become not a number at some section if this is what's happening. No, still no pixels or anything. Negative color. It could be negative color, to be honest. It's not though, actually. I tested for that with clamp. This actually doesn't make sense in my head, at least. Why? Wait, what? It's fixed now. What? What? It's not happening now. This doesn't make any sense. Wait, was it literally happening because of normalize right here? It doesn't go not a number until it tries to normalize this. Oh my god, it's normalize. Should I just keep it unnormalized? Like, to be realistic, it's not gonna add up so much that the errors in normalization add up to be anything major. Like, I'm actually thinking it's just so much better to just leave it unnormalized. What a... what kind of shit is that, man? Floating point, not a number errors. Absolutely classic. Okay, we can finally begin. So I think I'm gonna make these flat with no volume because that's a lot easier to begin, and that way I know the refraction and everything will work properly. Actually, no, it won't. It won't have the proper bends. Unless I have, okay, actually I am gonna have to add a tiny little like beveling to the snowflake. But anyways, let's just begin with a line. On NVIDIA, normalize does not return nan. No, it definitely returns nan on NVIDIA. You can see here, I am checking for not a number, n does not equal n. And if I don't check that, actually, I don't know if this will show up in this shader, but in a few shaders, if I don't do that, if I don't do that, it'll break the whole image. No, actually, there's no none here, but there are a few scenes where, yeah, it returns not a number. I think it literally just does the divide by zero. Like the normalized code ends up literally turning into a dot divide by square root of dot product or whatever. Oh my god, the Google Captions is actually so good. It just put in the square root symbol into the captions when I said square root. What the fuck? It's learning. Alright, anyways, we want to start with kind of like a sphere or cube. Wait, should it be a cube? Alright, I'm going to start by trying to make like a cross by mirroring mirroring a line across the axes. So I'm actually just thinking about this. If I want like a kind of point at the top, IQ's Twitter meme about shader shampoo. Nope, I did not see that. Man, is there a way to have Twitter not open up all the shit on the side? Like, actually, holy shit. Believe me, it's headers and shaders. Also placement new quaternions. Placement new quaternions and driver bugs. Enhance. This shit. Wait, did someone port this to a shader already? How many people? How long is it going to take for someone to code this into a shader on Shader Toy? It shouldn't take long. Oh my god. Alright, so then to make this flat, I need to limit it by the plane like this. I'm gonna do it on Z. So now this should make a flat line going up. Yeah, so that's like a flat plane of glass. And that doesn't do anything because it has no it has no depth or volume. And I didn't have my screen on. Here we go. So this small line would have way more refraction and detail if I added a beveling, which I think I can actually do kind of easily by just doing plus S here, or maybe minus S. I just realized I should actually I'm going to make this solid. Because I'm not going to be able to notice any details if I don't make it solid. So at least while I design how this looks, I'm going to make it solid. Alright, here we go. So this is a flat plane. And it is way too bright, but that's better. And I'm gonna make it spin around because it's way easier for me to get an idea of what's actually happening here when it spins. Might make it spin a bit faster though. Yeah, I gotta make it spin a little bit faster. Wait, that didn't really make it that much faster. Oh, now it's got too much motion blur. I guess I could do this, but then I could lock it in place so there's no motion blur and move it in steps. Then need to multiply back. Yeah, it's actually just easier for me to just keep it normal and slow it down. But alright, so I'm trying to get it now to have like a bit of a curve. So this puts a hole in it, but I think it's doing similar to what I want. I just need to scale down the distance. Okay, so that looks pretty good. It's hard to tell, but it's doing an indent. So now it's shaped like that. Instead of like flat, it's got like a it's like the top of a house, like that. Maybe it actually might be turned backwards. It might be turned the wrong way. It's hard for me to tell. I actually can't tell because it is not detailed enough, but that is alright to begin. So now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to rotate it multiple times. rotate and mirror it. I'm just looking what angle I want to point the camera at it. Alright, that actually shows really well that it has the indent I talked about. And now I wonder, can I make this inverted somehow so that it does it both ways? So this creates a flat plane. Adding this indents it outwards. The absolute value after that makes it flat and not a outer surface. How would I apply this in both directions? Would I do abs S like this? There is not enough shading to tell. I'm thinking I'm gonna flip the sun around so I can see this side better. Still can't see it that well. What if I put it at an angle? I want to get to the point where there's like a shadow. Whatever, that's good enough. So if I do this backwards, this should flip. Wait, what? What? Disappeared. I need to think about this. What does flipping that backwards do? I would think that this would apply it backwards, but it doesn't. Or like flip the direction of the indent. I need a better way of visualizing this. I almost feel like rendering it outside of path tracing would be better. Because the path tracing gives too fuzzy lighting. Like, what if I just, on the first hit, what if I just output the normal? And then disable the background. This actually should be a nice way of debugging. There we go. So now is it spinning too fast or what? Here we go. Alright, now we can easily visualize this in real time. So if I make this apply not backwards. Okay, I can see it has this. It's actually hard to tell. It might be doing what I want it to do already. Yeah, I think it is. Oh my god, it has the shape. It has the shape. Okay, so this is a beveled face. So it has a little like point going out of it. Good, very good. You know what? I should make this. Maybe I should add a define called debug. I don't know, this might be overkill because I can just write it really quickly. But I could just assume that it's not going to path trace when it does the debug like this, and I can just return. And then I don't like need to turn down F samples to 50 or whatever. Nice, there we go, and then that still displays the background. Alright, so I think I'm going to use this to debug. Yeah, okay, nice. So this also shows when there's holes. So this can help me fix the ray marking when there's errors in the distance function. So there we go, that fixed it. I want to see how low I can get this multiplier, because the smaller, or how big I can get it, because the bigger I get it, the more optimized it'll be. It'll take larger step sizes. Alright, I think 98 is good. I might need more, but we'll see. Look at how realistic this is. Alright, I'm going to get started on actual fractal shapes now. I was thinking if I want to do this in a for loop. Alright, let's just make it a cross to begin. go. So that's actually an infinite cross. Maybe I could make an infinite snowflake. But that probably would become a very quick mess because it would just be like a whole bunch of like lines. So what we want to do, what I actually want to do is I want to limit how far the lines go. How do I do that again? I think I need to clamp each of these individually, but I don't know. Hold on, I want to see what the path traced version. Oh my god, that's so so noisy. This actually might not look too bad. That's pretty noisy. Yeah, path tracing requires lots of steps. Yeah, it's really good. I made this debug mode. It's so much better. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that I can clamp this doing like minimum 50. Or maybe let's just try minimum 5 to begin. Oh, maybe I can only see, wait. Oh, I have to clamp them based off of each other. I think there's probably an optimized way to do this. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? So that isn't the way to do it. I guess maybe I'll just start with 1. Okay, so does this control how far? Oh my god, okay. I think I understand it now. Yes, okay, there we go. That should do it. There we go. Alright. So I think that itself is a basic snowflake shape. A cross. Now what I need is it for to have a sort of branching effect where these split off into other branches. And I think that I can actually do that with a for loop. I'm thinking about it, but this actually should be something that you can do by repeatedly subdividing space. I think if at the end of this I do minus a certain amount, undefined variable s. Oh. Yeah, I guess I need to combine them into a total distance or min distance. Okay, that is not what I was looking for, but it's a cool effect. So shader toy SDF scenes with snow particles, and it was not that laggy. Yeah, I think it's a pretty simple shape. Oh my god, I just realized that looks like a snowflake. What the fuck? Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, this actually looks like a kind of... Oh my god, there's actually a collection of types of snowflakes called the Bentley collection. Because Wilson Allen Bentley, first cloud physicist, grew up on a small farm in Vermont, spent most of his life there. Love knowledge, graduated drawing, taking photographs through a microscope, obtaining the first photomicrograph ever taken of an ice crystal. So the amazing thing for me is we're still using this guy's work. The most widely used classification for solid precipitation was proposed by the International Commission on Snow and Ice. Most snow crystals found will fit into one of 7 main categories: plates, stellar crystals, columns, needles, spatial dendrites, cap columns, irregular forms. Snow for the Bentley project because it offered some distinction. So like things are still cross-referenced. Just waiting to Google scan world, yeah. Hexagonal plate. Wow. How do I go to the next page? This is broken. You can't go to the next page. Bullet ice? Oh my god. Oh my god, I figured out now why it's so hard to make snow. Because there are literally like an infinite number of combinations of these fractals. I love the challenge of this though, like just trying to make a tiny little simple snowflake generator that just makes different shapes of snowflakes. Okay, there needs to be a better way to browse this. Find all. I bet there's a way to select specific pages. What if we just scan the website? this is normally considered a dick move, but when they don't give you a proper way to scan the website. Snow is just a fractal, always had been. Wow, look at that. Man, the 3D shapes in this are so complex. Wow. I'm determined to figure out how to actually search through this. Oh, here we go as text. Wait, what? This is just dew on a spider's web. It just includes some random pictures that the photographers took. Man, I love the internet. That just looks like a piece of snow off a branch or something. Alright, so what I've learned is that I shouldn't even try to replicate real snowflakes because I won't even get close. Alright, but this is cool. The amount of offset changes how this looks. So I already have a basic shape that can be changed and altered. So then what I could do is I could make it smaller. So then what happens if we repeat this? It should do smaller and smaller lines. Yeah. There we go. So that already, I think that is a snowflake. So let's try to make this transparent and render it. I guess I need to turn debug off. Oh my god, it works. It works. Okay, so now let's add a bit of let's make it not completely transparent. Dude. Dude. Oh my god. So part of the reason it's so noisy is because there's actually caustics going on with the light refracting inside the snowflake. Oh, okay. Let's do a little bit of an animation there. This might make OBS lag, but it's worth it. It's gonna pass inside the snowflake. It's noisy, but the refraction and everything is actually working perfectly, and as far as I'm aware, if I combine these into a pile, it should create the effect of snow. Beautiful. And so the goal here actually is I'm going to be trying to make this into a function where I can call it with different parameters so that it can actually generate like different snowflakes depending on different parameters. One of the things though I've actually been thinking about, because so I've heard how complicated rendering proper snow is. And I was thinking about it, and one of the things I think is actually the hardest is, so initially planning this out, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to have a bunch of these white crystal particles, and when they build up, they refract the light. Each of them is kind of crystal-like and clear, but when they're combined, they create this super random and diffuse effect. But then, one thing I'm actually playing with that I'm not 100% certain is like, so when I say white in the programming, it literally just means multiplying by a grayscale color, like something where the red, green, and blue is identical. But I actually have, I'm not certain about this because like it goes into actual physics and things, but I'm fairly certain that because the refraction in reality isn't perfect, snow actually like has a tiny bit of chromatic refraction where, like, for example, red will be refracted in a different direction than blue. And I have a theory that snow isn't just like white, it's not just like multiplying by a grayscale value. It actually, if you I have a theory that if you shine, I'm actually fairly certain about this now because it makes complete sense if it refracts different colors. Like say you shine red into snow, it'll get like when it goes into one snowflake, it'll refract the red and blue differently, a tiny amount. But as it goes through more and more layers of snowflakes, the red and blue get completely separated. And they should actually average out to like a white or gray. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Is that it doesn't just have like a collection of like these volumetric gray particles. It has like volumetric chromatic refraction that blurs colors all to white. Like, you get what I mean? Is if you have like all the wavelengths, hold on, you can actually visualize this with a hue scale. Snow's transparent prism. Yeah, so prism is exactly what I'm talking about, where like when you have a single prism, it'll split the red, green, and blue. But I'm saying if you do that randomly with a snowflake where it doesn't split it perfectly, and you repeatedly do that over and over again, it eventually shifts the wavelengths together and combines them to like it averages out to white. So like, to give an example of what I'm talking about, let me set up a gradient here. I don't know what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing, I just don't know how. I've got to feed in luminosity and output it as hue. Wait. Oh, this needs to be red first. Hold on. Or it needs to be all one color. Man, math is hard. Alright. So, okay, say you have... Okay, this still doesn't have the value and brightness reset. God damn it. Alright, this is a basic idea though. Like, say you've got a spectrum here of colors. And this is like the light that's being separated. The different values of light that are being separated in the snow. Each time it goes through the snow, the refraction blurs the colors a little bit. It blurs the wavelengths together. I keep clicking the wrong thing over and over again. So each time it does a little blur, and like immediately it doesn't really have much of an effect, right? But then my idea is that as you blur them together, wait, maybe it makes brown. Maybe I'm completely wrong about that. And I just realized this isn't working properly. This should actually reset the value and brightness. Huh. Effective light pass boundary of different density. Yeah. Like, there's so many effects there. That's one thing I need to, or I think I'm going to plan out doing in this, is adding chromatic refraction. Oh, man, I am really confident to try and get this now, because I just want to figure out how to make a hue scale. Like, there has to be a way to just easily make a hue gradient here. Right? Like, if I take this and I do the same thing of feeding it into hue, and then I reset the luminosity so that it's all, then that fucks up the saturation. Yeah, then that messes up the saturation. Man, it's so hard to just get... I didn't realize it was so hard to get an HSV chart in a photo editing program. I guess it... Alright, so apparently HSV no longer means hue saturation value. It means herpes simplex virus. My mistake. I'm really lucky that I don't show Google searches on stream anymore. Like, really lucky. That's not lucky, actually. That's planning ahead. Alright. Alright, so say you've got this hue. My theory is that when you blur all of this together, it basically forms white. Like, when the wavelengths get blurred together. It actually might form brown, though, now that I think about it. That doesn't work properly. This might actually not be what I'm talking about. You know what? It actually might be. Kind of forms yellow, which is kind of white. But yeah, basically my idea is that when light goes into snow and it refracts a whole bunch of times, it stops being whatever color it is and turns to white or grayscale. So I need to have proper chromatic aberration and reflection. So this is actually another thing. Most people, when they talk about chromatic effects, like caustics, they're mostly interested in chromatic refraction. Which is basically like you put light through a prism in red, green, blue, and the colors of the rainbow get separated. But what actually exists, and in my opinion, what happens way more in reality, is chromatic reflection, which is a bunch of metals and things like water and tons of stuff reflect red, green, and blue differently. Like, there's actually a bunch of metals. I don't know if I have any here, but if you hold it up, you can literally see in the reflection of the metal that, like, the colors are kind of shifted one way more than the other in the reflection. Hold on. Wait. This actually probably is something really easy to show. So anyways, I'm looking for a solution that does that as well. And so my last Monte Carlo path tracing thing, this has chromatic, this does the chromatic refraction or reflection via this separation dither. So this is designed to split up red, green, and blue, which I think works really well. But what I realized is that, okay, so this also, by the way, the actual proper way of doing this, so what this does is one frame it does red tracing, and then it scales up the result by 3 to make up for the fact that it's only tracing red pixels 1 out of 3 times. And then it does that for the red, green, and blue. So doing red, green, and blue separately is how it's able to separate the refraction indexes and things. But that gives you the effect of having way noisier data, and it basically makes your rendering way noisier because you're tracing less red, green, and blue. The actual proper way to do this isn't just to separate red, green, and blue, it's to literally separate all the different wavelengths of light. So you have like, well, actually, the even more correct way that would still be pretty cheap would be to do the colors of the rainbow. So instead of just red, green, and blue, you would do like red, purple. You would do the colors from the hue chart. So then I was thinking about that and how that would be too slow. But then I realized that just separating it into 2 colors, so that instead of just having red, green, and blue, it actually multiplied it. So like you could do one kind of reddish purple trace and then another one blue. It's hard to explain, but I'm thinking about this way that would let you do this, but have it be faster than the red, green, blue, because it only does it with 2 separations. And it also lets you control the colors more finely than separate red, green, blue. It lets you do like purple refracts in this distance and then green refracts in that distance. But the difficult part of that would be it would only support like 2 or however many. Like I need to think about how I want to design the macro. I'm almost thinking I just want to go with this to begin, because even this just works pretty well. But at the same time, this is so nice to just integrate into the rendering method because it does work so easily. It's literally just like you call the macro and you say what refraction index you want for red, green, blue, and it does its thing and just uses the data from the existing material. Like if I change the macro, I'm going to need to do more work in my material function. But that might totally be worth it just to get way better refraction. All right, I'm going to stand up and stretch. It's been a while. Get more water. Yeah, I'll keep this up. I don't know if I should keep that up or this up. This is pretty impressive too. I'll post the link to this in chat. People like looking at code. Yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes. And hold on, I just realized I never started up the camera. Oh, look, VLC has a little Santa hat on its icon. And what about music? Yeah. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright. I'm just thinking, I'm not even sure that this chromatic separation will even work properly in this. So let me think about it. I feel like this refraction method might break it, but let me think about it. So let's say it sets green and blue to 0. That's going to lose all of the color values that are existing, even if it's just tracing through the object. It's going to tint the color to be red or whatever. I feel like it will actually be better to just do this with 2 colors, and then you select what the colors are, so you can make it so that it never it never scales the other colors down to complete 0, which should have a much better effect. It should be way less noisy because it at least lets a little bit of color through. I think I'm just going to copy this. So how would this get integrated as well? Instead of multiplying diffuse, I multiply So how do I want to... So this macro is actually going to be different than here as well, because the way I set the material is different. Here I set the material to a single object. I guess maybe that's the way I'll have this work as well. So if we have like mat3m, if we call chroma so then we can have actually different opacities as well. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to stick with this method because it does work really well. I've tested it. I know it works. Should be pretty easy to implement here. I'm just wondering if I should have a common name like Matt or something. Or the way I generally just return like this. I feel like I should almost pass it through chroma like that. Huh. Eh. guess I don't even need to actually. So the way to do this would be multiply by red by 3. And then RC is the red code. Yeah, actually, okay, this will work. I just don't need this second macro anymore. Alright, that should do it. I'm just thinking this is overkill, calculating it over and over again, but like I feel like there is a more optimal way of doing this than an if statement. Especially since I would have an if statement, like if I had multiple of these materials, I would have multiple of these chroma calls that do multiple if statements. I don't know if there's really any way to optimize this because it is like a complicated thing. What would be a more efficient way of doing this? Or maybe combining what if I just did this? I almost feel like that is more efficient because then I'm not initializing an integer each time I do that. Yeah, I like that more. Okay, let's try this. So the red refraction index will be 1. Green refraction index we'll make 1.05, and then blue will be 1.1. So let's see how this works. This should, when it does compile, it should make it more noisy. Unexpected, expecting. Oh, didn't do end of line, I guess. Oh, there we, okay. It's doing chromatic separation. So just to be certain that these are correct, let's make them all the same. Oh, yeah, so something is broken. For sure. What if we just don't do anything? Not enough arguments for macro chroma. Can I just do empty? Okay. I think this is correct. Hold on. When I talked about making it noisier, this is what I meant. It turns grayscale noise into red, green, blue noise. Okay, yeah, so there's an issue somewhere here. Yeah, so that's an issue just with the chroma. So whatever it is, I need to fix that. So let's test this out. I'm just going to set the refraction to 1 just to begin. RCGCBC at 0 times equals what is happening? Calls RC. Oh, okay, I'm setting the wrong value. Dumb. Huh. Now it's making it brighter, which it shouldn't do. It should. That's weird. Multiplies it by 3, but multiplying the other ones to 0 should make up for it. The fact that it only does it for 1 out of 3 frames. Yeah, why is that brighter? It shouldn't be brighter. Alright, let's try turning this down to 1. Okay, that's really weird. It almost seems like it's changing the contrast. That is weird. So maybe when I was saying it doesn't give correct rendering result, I was right. Oh my god, I know what it is. I know what it is. I'm just dithering this based off the frame, which worked here because the tri-prism is a singular object, and just dithering them between the frames works. But the issue is that when this bounces back inside the thing, it turns it completely red for a single frame, whereas what should actually happen is it should go between the two, dither between the two. Basically, instead of just seeding this off of the frame, I need to randomly dither this. I wonder, I might use the same thing. I might reuse this opacity rand. Start opacity. Huh. I was thinking if there's a better way of doing this hash, but I can't really think of any. I guess maybe I could just create my own define start chroma and do a similar thing except chroma frame like this. Alright, let's try it. It's probably going to be really bad without using the hash, but it should still work pretty well. That's the thing, actually. I'm not even certain I can do a better hash than that. This is probably fastest. Better hash is blue noise. Yeah. I can only do blue noise for the first path trace here, though. When it's ordered by the pixels, you can align the blue noise texture to the pixels and do a different blue noise sample like across the grid of pixels, and then the first ray traces are in such a nice pattern. They make like optimal use of each trace, but the issue is as soon as you get to like the second trace, you can't align the blue noise sampling anymore unless you do like a one-dimensional array, and I've found that only works well when like basically you can only do it if you're exactly controlling the number of bounces and things you can do, and then you like pass in a texture of that one-dimensional. But like that's the crazy thing, it's a one-dimensional ordered thing, but it's actually a two-dimensional texture of data because it's like rows of data for each thing. But yeah, the benefit of blue noise just diminishes as you get more and more samples, and like the renderings I'm trying to do here are with like, holy shit. Okay, the renderings I'm trying to do here are with like thousands of samples. I just realized I did a rendering like 2 months ago. Oh yeah, I got a tweet that got liked by No Man's Sky. Feels good, man. Or I think it was by the developers of No Man's Sky. Hold on, where is this? I did this 4K rendering. It's like took me like 4 hours to put out the rendering, and I never published it. I never put it out. Oh my god. Oh my god, here it is. Video. 4K. Such a nice rendering, dude. So this was like the last path traced scene I did. Procedural scene I did on stream. Oh my god, why does YouTube automatically show suggestions? It's so annoying. It's so triggering, actually, the way that websites just like shove shit in your face and give you no way of turning it off. Yeah, it's mine. And so part of what really surprised me, normally don't see stuff like this, but oh my god, I found it. I found the game. So earlier in stream, I was talking about this game developer who's from Shader Toy who's making a game. I found it. I found who they are. I'm an idiot. Yeah, sorry. No, the No Man's Sky. One of the No Man's Sky developers um, liked or retweeted or whatever when I posted that thing on Twitter. Hold on, I just found it. It's too much voltage software. Yeah, I swear to God, this is Nimitz. Too much voltage software. This is the same icon as like Nimitz. Ooh, he's got a path tracer. Beautiful. Yeah, now this is ray tracing. Crazy. Walk on spheres light transport. Huh. Yeah, who is this? Dude, they have like no social media. This is a person on Shader Toy. High Omega is their game. Am I an idiot? Is it somewhere here and I'm just like missing it? Instead of denoising, diffusing screen space, use a surface cache, eliminates almost all variants. I display raw output in the beginning. See, the question isn't using a surface cache, it's how do you efficiently do a surface cache for lots of different surfaces? Ah, yeah, voxel based. Um, by Nimitz. So that's the thing. I swear, like, all of this stuff is by Nimitz, which makes me think it's Nimitz, but it doesn't say Nimitz anywhere on here. Oh, I guess it's separate. I guess he's a different person. See, this is a new account. Who is this? This is a person who had an account on Shader Toy for like so long. Who is it? Ooh. Okay, the only reason I found this is because the actual guy who runs this tweeted it out from his main account, who I follow on Twitter. It actually bugs the fuck out of me that I can't figure out who this is. Can we see High Omega? High Omega is available for download? We might try this. Dude, is there a way that I can view this without seeing the suggested videos on YouTube? Like, for fuck's sake, I wanna read the comments on stream because there's actual intelligent comments, because it's about. Okay, yeah, so for all of this stuff, it keeps crediting Nimitz. I swear to God, this is Nimitz. I swear to God, Too Much Software is Nimitz. But why doesn't he mention his name anywhere except for, like, shaders? I don't know, I guess it's more than him, but, like, why don't they list their contact information? It's actually triggering. And it also doesn't explain what even is High Omega? What even is High Omega? Oh, it's an engine. It's an engine, okay. This is cool though. This probably has so much good code in it. Let's look at this. Godot has worked on real-time Voxel GI even for OpenGL, now it worked for Vulkan. So yeah, so many engines have real-time GI now. It's really nice. Art. Wait. Where's the engine? You know what I fucking hate? When people create an empty GitHub library and then link to it. It's so... It just baits you so hard. It's like clickbait. Oh my god. Alright. I gotta get back to... I want to try to get this chromatic aberration. I think I saw the demo and even launch it. Yeah. So here's my thing. I have seen so many things on Twitter now of like real-time ray tracing. Check out this real-time ray tracer. Look at how good this looks. And every time I see it, I go, that's fucking awesome. Let me see how this works. And I go and look at the code, and there's almost always a catch. Like, I think the only one I've seen so far is RTX, and the only reason there's no catch for me so far is because we don't really know how RTX works. It's hidden inside NVIDIA chips. I feel like this hash is the best way. RTX is triangles BVH intersection. Yeah, but that's a thing where, like, not really certain. First of all, there's like the RTX mesh data is separate than the regular mesh data. So it's like this whole thing of like I don't know. It's fucking complicated, dude. The thing that triggers me about RTX is a bunch of these ray tracing solutions like Unreal Engine and CryEngines, and I'm presuming even Godot's voxel GI solutions have actually fit the slogan of it just works, in that you can literally just toggle it on in the engine and it'll run slowly, but it will work. My thing with RTX is it really seems to be in that, like, you don't just turn it on. You need to like design your game to only load in specific models to RTX. Like RTX is almost like a new level of detail. Like literally LOD, where you need to choose what models you're going to be loading into RTX at what time. And to me that is not it just works. That means it is a lot more work for the developer now planning out performance around the ray tracing. That's part of my thing with the voxel GI is, yeah, it has a whole bunch of issues. It's not accurate, but it is a consistent performance where you can guarantee that the voxel GI is going to run at this specific rate. So this info. Reading through, I recently released instruction set architecture reference. I came with some interesting information about ray tracing support for the new GPU architecture. Disclaimer: the document is a little light on specifics. According to the diagram released on the RDNA2 work group processor, a new hardware unit, the ray accelerator, has been added to implement ray/box, ray/triangle intersection in hardware. This unit can calculate 4 ray/box or 1 ray/triangle intersections per clock cycle. Seems that each WGPU has 2 of those units. The ray accelerator unit, as part of the ray/triangle intersection test, I imagine, can also return the barycentric interpolation coordinates to be used to retrieve to interpolate data on the triangle surface. New instruction: image BVH intersect ray has been added to the ISA to expose the ray accelerator functionality. According to the ISA documentation, the instruction works on both bounding boxes and triangles depending on the input node type. Instructions defined as VGPR. A is the set of inputs, D is the set of outputs, R is the resource descriptor of the BVH tree. The ray origin and ray direction. Wait. Input data for the instruction, BVH traversal, offset for the BVH node, the maximum ray length, and the ray origin and ray direction, and inverse direction. Intel's Embry. Collection of high-performance ray tracing kernels developed by Intel. Ooh, SSE and AVX. It's PMD. Oh, this is actually something I am totally looking for something that automatically vectorizes efficiently. Instruction was exposed in GLSL, yeah. Yeah, this sounds like huge. So this is presumably AMD's RTX. Alright, ISPC is a compiler variant for the C programming language with extensions for single program, multiple data programming under the SMPD. ISPC, run units of... Oh, and run on GPUs. Without any of the difficulty of writing intrinsic code. This sounds like a shader language for the CPU. I like how this sounds. Alright, I want to see an example of what the code is like for this. Ray tracing. Ooh. Wow, they really have some examples here. Noise. Seems like an easy example. Used SPMD for some projects, not that useful, I say. Switch to simple simmed. If it does simmed efficiently, I want to see what it's like. Right, ppm. Okay, I want to see what it's like calling the actual code. Compute the image using ISPC. Where's ISPC? Wait, where's the header file? Oh, is it generated from this? Very interesting. I am very skeptical that this efficiently compiles into simmed. I'm very skeptical that this... I think this might give pretty worse performance than just writing the simmed code yourself. Like, it's fucking great that it gives you automatic simmed code, but I'm fairly certain... Like, what is... Also, what is this program count? Hold on. Intel ISPC simple example. So, like, I can tell it's actually, like, locked out. I don't know how to describe it. Like, all these functions are only accessible to this kernel, which I'm not certain I'm a fan of. Compiler generates binary library, yeah. Familiarity, high quality, ease of adoption, portability. Yeah, I'm kind of skeptical about portability, but I would really like... See, here's part of my issue. When I support simmed, I like to support all the different SSE, AVX, and everything in one program. I believe the way this will work is that it generates a different binary, one for SSE2, one for AVX, one for AVX2. So you would either need like different libraries for each SSE and AVX. Like it doesn't give you a way to have the different targets all in one. Let me see though. Oh, this is actually a question. Can I generate a single binary executable with support for multiple instruction sets? Chooses the most appropriate one at runtime. Oh my god, it actually does support this. Wow. One of the most general instruction set. If the system is not able to run, then the standard library abort function. Oh, it doesn't support. Wait, it doesn't support non-SSE? Or can you generate it for just a regular CPU? Inline. Oh. This actually seems really nice. I'm just thinking that calling these functions are probably going to have an overhead, especially compared to normal C functions. And I don't like the idea of using their own using their own compiler. But let me see. I think I'm going to figure out how to use this because walk through the simple program. All right, I shouldn't do this now because this is actually like a pretty big thing. But like this is so cool to me because I've thought about having something like this that's almost like you say GLSL for the CPU. Do like a simmed programming language on the CPU. I just want to see if it can integrate really easily. Yeah, so I think because it just generates regular object files, this should actually be super easy to implement. I think, yeah, so I think at some point I'm going to go and test this and benchmark it compared to my own vector functions. But I don't know, it looks super easy to use and super nice actually. The export qualifier indicates this function should be made available to be called from C++ code. Directly takes parameters passed by C/C++ code as a regular function parameters. No API calls or runtime library are necessary to set parameter values to pass this function. Parameters are all tagged. Uniform qualifier indicates it's the same value for all concurrently executing programs. Okay, so that seems like it's literally only used for declaring these. I can't think of any other reason why you would need uniform. Pointer to the output buffer. It's passed as an unsized array, just like in C, arrays are converted to pointers. Like other function parameters, the buffer is passed from the application. Inner loop produces a new looping construct provided by IPC for each. For each specifies parallel iteration. Oh my god. This is actually exactly what I wanted as like... This is basically like a... This is basically like a programming language. Like, this is like shaders for the CPU. Holy cow. This is so cool. I'm just wondering how much you need to understand what's going on here. I feel like it's almost like a whole new programming language, which might be good. In this case, specifies parallel iteration. Each time through the loop, the iteration variable I takes on values corresponding to a small range. Alright, cool. Let me just see. The one thing I want to see is, can ISPC generate non-SSE code or non-SIM code? Generate regular non-SIMmed. It was super simple for me, very close to shader logic. Yeah, it seems super similar to shaders. ISPC supported instruction sets. Maybe they just expect you to write code that isn't AVX code. So they do say it currently supports SSE2, SSE4, AVX1, AVX2, AVX512, which makes me think it doesn't support just regular. Let me search up ISPC fallback. I will be really surprised if it doesn't have a fallback. Oh, this is Richard Geldreich. This guy's fucking awesome, dude. This guy does so much good stuff. Here's him talking about, after using Intel's ISPC compiler, I can see this as something I want to keep using. I'm far more excited about this than improvements to C++. ISPC helps me write readable / easy maintainable code that runs multiple times faster on a wide range of CPUs without using intrinsics. He mentioned something about it. It would be good, could output C instead of .object. Yeah, like, it actually is really good. But what? How could I fall back? Can be better if that. Just headers with compiler parameters. So it says that it falls back to abort when the SSD or whatever isn't supported. Do they really not have fallback? Yeah, you can fall back to write your own logic, but that's the thing. Can't they just generate the code, like the non-simmed code? Like, can't they just generate non-SIMD code? So you don't need to write it again? Because, like, that's what I'm thinking, is you're going to end up writing the code twice. Once for the CPU, and then, or like once for regular CPU, and then once for SPMD. The thing is, this is so niche. There's like barely information on Google or anything on this. I feel like if anyone's gonna have information on this, it's gonna be people on Shader Toys Discord. I might ask this on the Shader Toy Discord. Yeah, I'm thinking the fact that this compiles to .object files really hurts stuff. Like the guy Rich Gold was saying. Like having to compile it to .object files first, if it could just compile to C, it would be so much easier to integrate. I'm actually curious, the compiler's open source. Unifies execution models, high-level abstraction. Without this runtime. Open source project by large corporation, dead project. Well, it isn't really that popular, so it's also like pretty damn complicated. So oh my god, I'm reading the page specifically for Intel GPUs, and I'm like, what is all this jargon about loading onto host devices and stuff? Efficient iteration with 4 each. New Apple M1 processor. It could be really good. It could just be like, eh. We'll see. I don't take Mac seriously anymore because no one like develops Like, no one who uses a Mac makes software for Macs. Like, I'm not even fucking kidding. I was talking, this guy the other day was like talking about, like, oh man, he's like, man, I can't find any of this software for Mac. They don't build for it anymore. And I was like, I talked about this project he had on his GitHub, and I was like, so do you have a build option for this thing you have on GitHub for Mac? And he was like, no, it only builds on Linux. And it's like, that is actually the state of Mac right now, where like even Mac developers just do programming on like another system. This is actually so nice though. It's got this thing, a performance guide of tips and tricks and things, inline aggressively. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna need to do the fall. Like, I guess, like you said, I'll literally need to program a fallback if I use this. But wait, where was the thing? Looked at again. Single executable. Determine a runtime. A small helper function. You implement a function like this, then call it from your application. It will return 1, 2, depending on which. Okay, so -1 means it fails. Okay, so yeah, I guess you can detect it and you just have to write your code twice. This is really interesting. So let me look up how much does. So from your experience, does it increase build size a lot? Like, how big are the object files it generates? Wonder where people who make games for consoles stay, because that stuff is complex and consoles use their own SDK with own everything. Where they learn all this, it should take years of learning. Yeah, I think they literally just figure it out. Or like the companies, the big companies, I believe, literally have people that come in from, like, Microsoft will literally send a developer to like Sony to teach people at Sony how the console works. Let me see if there's anything about build size. Super small library, same as GCC. Yeah, this actually seems insane. Like, I'm trying to find some issue with the library, and there's nothing. It's like, well, I think I will actually end up using I. Do you? So I don't know if you remember my C library, C core. I worked on a long time ago now, and it's kind of paused because I got to like graphics rendering, and I went to do images and stuff. And for example, calculating image bitmaps, I was like, oh, this is way more optimized with simmed. And then I was like writing drawing functions. I use memset and stuff, which is simmed, but I was like, oh, if I want alpha blending and all this stuff, I'm literally gonna want like the equivalent of a shading language on the CPU. And that's what I figured out when I wrote this. So now to find this Intel ISPC that literally lets me write this code as like a shading language, oh my god, I know how I'm going to fill in this now with simd. Okay, so this is the crazy thing for me. I was looking up about auto vectorization in Visual Studio and GCC the other day, and it was generally the same stuff where people talk about how bad the auto vectorization is. Why don't, like, is this just not known? Because this is the solution to the auto vectorization issue. Hold on, I'm gonna tweet this out. Today, I learned about the Intel Today, I learned about absolutely insane, like a shader programming language, but for simd on CPU. I don't know why this isn't way more popular than your average auto vectorization. Alright, that's crazy. Dude, I'm so happy that I clicked this Intel Embry thing. Like, if I didn't click this Intel Embry ray tracer, I would have never seen the Intel SPMD compiler. Ugh. Dynamic scenes by two-level spatial index structure. Yeah. That is efficient. You have your objects in a bounding box, and then you have a general grid that objects can move through very quickly. Alright, let me finish. Let me get this working. Well, as I say earlier, you end up creating a large template of SPMD functions and use those functions from your C++ code with the same functions for no SIMD fallback, functions that you write. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's kind of like shaders in that regard. That's also why I was asking about build size, because I definitely see you replicating the same code over and over again doing that. But yeah, it just seems like it's like all benefits. I'm thinking of like how you could do that better, but like it seems to me like that is basically what you need for simd code. I think I'm just going to use this same hash. Because really anything I write is going to be less efficient. Maybe until he was the only SPMD programmer. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want that. Writing a compiler sounds like hell, especially a simd compiler. I'm actually impressed with how good of a job they've done with that for like open source stuff. It's like that is seriously so close to a shader programming language, and it's just open source. It's pretty awesome. All right. Undefined variable chroma frame. Oh yeah, I need to call start chroma. Let's see if this works now. I don't think I've closed this. Let me put this on one line, make it easier. Float fract hash the hash input hash.x fract times 3 close fract close float. Okay, that should do it. Oh, it didn't. Maybe it's somewhere else. Unexpected, expecting, closed. What am I doing wrong here? Maybe I did count this wrong. Oh, here we go. Did that work? Is that correct? I just want to get the base of all of this set up. Oh, okay. I think that's correct. So what we're looking for is we're looking for this to converge to pretty much the same result as before. It looks like, though, that there are some different spots here. You know what, though? It might make complete sense that this just generates a different thing. Yeah, so those... It's very similar, but there's none of these lines here where it's more bright red or green or blue. I wonder what that is. Maybe some of these numbers are a more even distribution. Huh, it's pretty much the same, except for these areas here where there are more... It's either the light's being concentrated there. I'm actually super curious if just separating the red, green, blue causes different effects like this. Hmm. Fract times 3, smaller than 1, smaller than 2, smaller than 3. Huh. What is causing this? What if I disable the frame dither? I don't think it's the frame dither. I think it's the position seating that's causing it. Is that certain positions end up having a slightly higher probability and then the caustics amplify that? So what if I try lowering this? Ooh, interesting. So now you can kind of see a grid there, and it's still causing that same effect. You know what? You know what? This is the distance field ray marking. That's a ray marking artifact. Wait a minute. What if I change this to like times 0.8? Is it ray marking into the surface a tiny bit? Is that what it's doing? That's exactly what it looked like, is kind of the hole that ray marking gives. No, actually, I don't think that's it. Yeah, it's still here even without it. I wonder, it's like the same thing as the ray marking hole artifact, but at the same time it's not the same thing. Like, I think it's caused by the same thing of the step size. Ooh, very interesting. It's creating that shape. So look at that. That doesn't show up in the normal tracing. But in the chroma sampling, the circle shows up. Ooh. Ooh. Interesting. What is happening? Yeah. It's it's that exact thing of the position stepping into the surface a little bit more. But the question is, why is that showing up? Maybe it's because I'm using the X. Like, does that change if I change it to the Z or Y? No, it doesn't. It still has the same. And you know what's actually really interesting? It doesn't show up at the beginning. It only shows up once this starts converging. Maybe I need to add a tiny bit. I mean, the frames are technically adding a tiny bit to the position seed. How does changing the position seed change this? Okay, very weird. let's just try making it based off of the frame. Whoa. What is happening? So it's completely independent of the position that's sampling this random value. Instead, this don't make no goddamn sense. It actually doesn't make any sense to me. How is this causing that much of an influence? So now I've removed the random seeding based off the position because I thought the position stepping a bit into the surface and the ray marking error made the sampling different around these rings, which caused the rings or waves. But now it's just alternating between the frames and the rings are still showing up, which says to me that it wasn't the position being red, but it's wherever the ray is going after this. Wait, what did... Where is it now? Oh my god, is it caused by me amplifying the color? Does it only... Oh my, it only shows up when I multiply the color. What? Why? Why would that happen? What if we increase the refraction skip step? Is it not skipping? No, it is skipping. Let's increase the epsilon. Okay, so it's probably something to do with the epsilon because... Yeah. So if I increase the precision, it's still kind of there, but it's less. This doesn't seem right as well. The way it's so bright. Yeah, this should be what it looks like. So there is something completely bugged about the way I'm doing this chroma. It actually just might not work with the way I'm doing this ray tracer. Crazy floating point numbers. Hello, Commodore 2560. I have any advice for people who would like to program but they don't trust what they don't understand? I have no faith in the idea of poking at something that's either a black box or has many complicated meta dependencies that are so complicated they might as well be black box spooks. I mean, I think like was the Commodore, what are the old gaming things that you can was the Commodore one of the ones you could program for? Yeah. So like the Commodore 64 or like the Z whatever, what is it? Yeah, basic programming. Things like the Commodore 64 or whatever are great. Closed systems like that comes with a comes with an instruction manual, things like that. Like basic is so good just for that, because most of the things you'll get for basic come with like an instruction manual. Um, if you're introduced to the concepts of programming like that, like I think the hardest thing is getting started with that, with like a programming language, either like basic or really anything. As soon as you get like your first programming language learned, then you should be able to grasp a lot of things a lot easier. Like what your goal should be to figure out how to traverse documentation, like like it is a black box, and programming is basically just reading the manual. Like at the end of the day, most of the stuff is just like stuff you don't know, and you need to go into the instruction booklet for the functions that you're using and look at what they do. So like the goal, I would say, is that if it's a black box, read the instruction manual until it's no longer like a black box to you. And if the thing you're trying to learn doesn't have an instruction manual, then it probably doesn't want you to learn it. This don't make no goddamn sense. So this is actually looking different. I'm so confused. So what is... Oh my god! It's exponential! Wow, the number of times that it multiplies this color by is based off how many times the ray bounces around and has total internal refraction. So the more I turn up that value, the more it explodes to white. Tried to program it, every time I tried I felt like I was asking where the bathroom is in another language, and I don't understand what the word is for bathroom or understand the response. Yeah, so like that's the thing, you gotta get like a translation manual or something. In my opinion, the hard part of the programming isn't like writing all this stuff, or like understanding syntax. Like the grammar isn't the hard part of the language, in my opinion. Like learning that you have a variable name and then you have an operation on it like equals, and then to the right is what you're setting it to, or the function name, and then to the right you have the values you're passing into the function. You should be able to learn that stuff from like basic or whatever programming language you try to learn first. But yeah, that's the thing. Tutorials on YouTube cannot teach you basics of programming. I find most of the tutorials just like completely skip the basics. What was his name? There's someone like New Boston or someone who's famous for making tutorials. Yeah, the New Boston. I believe he is actually has good programming tutorials, but it's really, this is the thing with YouTube and stuff these days, it's really hard to just find the beginner basic stuff. Dude, New Boston actually has too many videos. I can't find like any super basic. Here we go. This is old, but I learned basics reading books when I did not even have a PC during school. Only at 20 years old I started using PCs, so if you look for ultra basics, better talk to real teachers. Yeah, dude, books are actually really high quality. Like, people shit on books these days, but like you don't actually need to get the paper book. You can just get like a PDF of the book. Hold on a minute. All right, so this was like probably the best book I've ever read. Killer Game Programming in Java. It's the classic O'Reilly book. But so the key part with this is it literally starts with like the basics. It literally starts with drawing like a square and teaching you about, like, it doesn't just start at, oh, here you're gonna make like, hold on, man, I just knocked over a whole fucking pile of books. Man, I just like pulled over a pile of books to get that and just knocked them over. It sucks. But like, yeah, that best book I've ever read for game programming. And the PDF for that is actually like free on the O'Reilly website, I believe now. I read some local Russian authors' books from early '90. Any good book good for basics? So that's my thing with books, is like most of the time when people have taken the effort of publishing a book, like it's actually good quality tutorial or information. Or like if it's a popular enough book that yeah, I don't know if I would focus on anything that's about programming Windows. Stuff like basic or stuff that's like a closed system is seriously like the best thing to learn. Or like Java. Java is kind of in a sense like a closed system. Alright, I'm going to try to find a nice value that this works. Yeah, .NET would be okay. Pascal, and then we code using MS-DOS. Yeah, those are good examples. I've suggested JavaScript for people learning programming, but I don't know how good that actually works in practice. Oh my god, look, you can actually see these tiny dots where the number explodes by multiplying over and over again. Dude, it's actually like sparkling. Physics is crazy. Oh, Delphi. Delphi is fucking good language, dude. Not a lot of people... It's not that popular. No, yeah, in 2021, numbers start exploding. So this actually is not good. This literally just hits a point where the big numbers just end up multiplied by each other over and over again. Alright, I think I've got a decent idea down of how to do this. This should actually work better when I get a way less refractive surface. So like that actually looks pretty good. Like that is nearly identical now. Okay, I figured it out. I just need to customize this chroma rate. Alright, let's see it. And I'm gonna multiply that by 1,000. I think numbers are exploding. 2021, wait for 2038. I can't remember. 2038 is like when we run out of oil, right? So I think my solution is actually just to really lower the color value. This looks pretty good, all things considered. Like, I'm fairly certain this is going to converge to a really nice looking snowflake. And those wave colors, I think those waves in the colors are actually proper refraction. Like, I actually think that's how the refraction's supposed to work. I'm super okay. I think I've got it. So now what I want to focus on is customizing this function to create different snowflakes with different parameters. But it's lunchtime, so I'm going to start going and getting food to eat. 2038 is when the number of seconds Unix time counted exceeds a 32-bit int. Yeah, true. I still can't believe that people, like, how don't people design these systems and think, hey, this might be running in 100 years? Like, I still don't get how people in 1970 didn't plan for like 2038. I guess they were just like, oh, well, I'll be 96 years old, so I don't need to worry about that problem. Like, I don't think that's a good way of thinking about it, but Alright, so I'm gonna be like up getting some water, but still here talking. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this snowflake, but it's still a bit bright. Let me try really turning down this chroma rate and see how it looks. Oh, it really bugs me how you get... Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Hold on a minute. Wait. How didn't I think about this? Okay, if this explodes to too high a value, then right here we can just clamp this to 3 because it's never supposed to go above 3. And now it works. Oh my god, why didn't I think of that before? It's so simple. And it fixes all the issues. Oh, dude. You know what made me think of that, Namori? Have you seen in Blender cycles under lights, there's an option, I can't remember what it's called, like maximum intensity or something, and it clamps the values of light under a certain amount so it doesn't cause those firefly bright little spots. It's so obvious. Oh, wonderful. So now this actually looks... This is actually pretty much identical. It might be a bit... Yeah, it's a bit darker. So I think I might... I can actually choose how much I want to clamp this and how dark it will get. So yeah, that's really nice. I can let it go up to like 10 and still get kind of bright. Ooh, beautiful. So now it's giving pretty much the same effect as chromatic aberration as no chromatic aberration. Beautiful. So now what we can do is we can actually refract. We can refract red at like 0.05, green at 0.1, and then we could refract blue at like 1.15. And that's not really going to do anything because there's not that much refraction. Never mind. All right, let me try big refraction numbers. There we go. That's kind of cool. So red and blue are being refracted in different directions now. It's kind of like a prism. And we can put red and blue closer. So now it kind of has a green and then a purple refraction. Yeah, super interesting. So I think these tiny refractions can actually add up to have a huge effect. But I'm not going to do it quite yet because I want to start with just the plain sampling. I also feel like I don't need this. So here's what I'm actually thinking. I added this option for debug. Now I'm going like, oh, well, what if I optimize this by having a toggle for like opacity and for chroma, and then when those things aren't enabled, I disable this section of code, which will actually make the shader quicker because of like the way shaders work is if you just have code here, it actually executes part of the time, even when it's not being executed. I mean, I guess it's... Has opacity, has chroma. if I just limit this at the end? Wait, let me try this. Maybe I don't need to clamp this here. Maybe I can just clamp it right at the end here when I multiply by C. How's that work? And then I am going to add a toggle here. If use opacity, and if use opacity. Maybe you told me, I don't remember, somewhere I hear about disabling part of code in shader. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just using defines. Some startup creating software to do it on air, like GPU, like some code of shader and mixed shaders. Unity kind of does something like that, where you have defines like this, but it actually generates a different shader for every different set of defines you have, if that makes sense. Which is kind of bad, because it wastes a bunch of space and compiles a bunch of shaders you don't end up using, but at the same time, it's so useful because you can just like have a whole bunch of options like that and toggle between them. Oh, I didn't enable chroma. Okay, so that does not do the same thing as limiting it right here. Limiting it right here is crucial to stop it from exploding. So that actually makes sense, because this is the equivalent of like major oversaturation. Wait, I just realized. Am I doing this wrong? Stack precompile and startup, do it in real time in GPU executable code. Yeah, in real-time GPU code, that would be way better. Wait, what is happening? Why did this just break? Okay, I gotta do things one at a time. If I change like 3 things at once, I don't know which of those things broke something. No, okay, so that works. Nice. Okay, so we can apply that clamping at the end and just let the color explode just to clamp it at the end, which is really nice. Okay, so it must have been my if statement for the has opacity. Right here. If has opacity. So this is what broke. I'm confused. Why did that shader before just break and now it's not broken? It doesn't make any sense. Maybe that's what was happening. Alright, whatever. Everything is working pretty damn nice now. I'm really happy with this. It's pretty optimized as well, so woohoo. I also think hardware sounds more interesting. I'd like to make an OpenGL 1.4 DirectX 7 superset GPU. I like how those APIs with the last to only use a fixed function pipeline. Fixed function so much faster if you can avoid a non-fixed function pipeline. Yeah, I don't know if it's faster. It's faster at doing less is the thing. Like you literally can't do a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm not even certain it's faster either. Fixed function had so many goddamn issues. There's also the whole thing of like GPUs implementing that fixed, but the pipeline wasn't even fixed, is the biggest issue. Is that from different GPUs, the pipeline would be slightly different. And it's like, it's not even a fixed pipeline at that point. So I think I'm gonna take a break while I eat lunch. We might watch like a Kurzgast video or something. I'm gonna see. I'm just kind of up and around and stretching, but I'm still here. See, this is one of the things I can't really decide about the stream. Do I just turn the stream off right now for like 30 minutes while I go and get lunch? Or do I just like leave it on a be right back stream? I feel like it actually might be best here if I just shut off the stream for like half an hour. I feel like it's almost lying having the stream up being like, here's the stream. I'm not here though. Alright, I think I'm going to be back, or I am going to be back in like 30 minutes, but the stream's going to go down, and I'll be back in like half an hour after I eat lunch. I just don't want to like sit here and pretend like the stream's running when I'm not actually really doing anything. Made pretty good progress though. We've got the basic snowflake going. This afternoon should be pretty smooth sailing. Should just add some rotations to the line shapes in the snowflake, and that should create an almost like branching effect, and then that should be able to be combined to create clumps of snow with a bunch of the particles together, or a bunch of the flakes together. I'm hoping will create the appearance of snow. So we'll see we'll see about that this afternoon, whether or not it really works. If not, I can just do something simple with like ice or something. There's a whole bunch of winter effects that are pretty easy to do besides snow, but I'm really attracted to the difficulty of snow. All right, bye bye. I'll see everyone in like half an hour.